Received a phone call of a victim of a shooting in the 500 block of West Atkins Street in the city of Ridgecrest. When they responded, they found him who had been shot multiple times. During that, the Ridgecrest Police Department received a phone call from the suspect. The suspect had told the officer what he was doing and what he had intended to do, which was to wreak havoc. A short time after that, the Ridgecrest substation observed the suspect on just outside the city of Ridgecrest. He attempted to make a vehicle stop on the suspect vehicle, and the suspect refused to succumb to the stop. Pursuit getting on Highway 395 southbound, and once they were on 395, the suspect began firing at other vehicles as it passed in the opposite direction. The suspect, we believe, fired 10 or 12 times at different vehicles. We also know that he crossed over into oncoming traffic and attempted to run vehicles off the road. At one point between here and the suspect pulled to the side of the road, and the trunk of the vehicle opened, and the officers were able to observe two people in the trunk of the vehicle. The suspect got back into the vehicle and continued on southbound on 395 with deputies and Ridgecrest PD and the Highway Patrol in pursuit. Right here, just about 30 miles south of Ridgecrest, the suspect pulled over where we knew two victims were. The officers engaged the suspect in a firefight, and the suspects that were taken from the trunk of the vehicle were airlifted to Antelope Valley Hospital, where both are being treated for their injuries. And that really is all the information we have to this point, but if you have any questions that I didn't cover and I can answer, I'd be happy to answer for you.
Did he ever fire at deputies?
We're so early into the investigation, we do know that there was a firefight at the last scene when he was shooting into the trunk. I don't know yet whether he was firing at deputies. We haven't gotten that far into it yet.
And at the house, there was one dead, one injured, is that right?
That is correct. Female deceased at the scene, in the Ridgecrest scene, and a male subject who was shot multiple times.
Sheriff, what is the relationship amongst these people?
We do know that the suspect and the victims that were in the trunk of the car and the victims on West Atkins knew each other. We don't know to what level yet that relationship existed.
Sheriff, can you explain again what you said? Shortly after the homicide at 5 a.m., the suspect called a sheriff's deputy and said he wanted to wreak havoc on the area?
What he did is he called an officer of the Ridgecrest Police Department on his cell phone and said that he wanted to come over to the Ridgecrest Police Department and kill the officers, but they had too many guns, and he had a package for them and was going to wreak havoc. And so shortly after that, the deputy picked up the vehicle leaving the city of Ridgecrest.
Can you confirm that he was also posting these threats on Facebook?
We do have some information that he may have been using Facebook as he was traveling down southbound on 395, but I don't have any direct information yet on what those postings may have been.
And can you go over how it ended again? I was a little confused on, you said he pulled over and his trunk opened and deputies saw that there were two people in the trunk?
The first time that he pulled over, some miles down the road, the trunk was opened somehow. The officers saw two people in the trunk of that vehicle. The trunk was closed, the suspect got back in the driver's seat, and the pursuit continued. The second time the suspect pulled to the side of the road, he turned from the driver's seat and started shooting into the trunk of the car where the two victims were, and the deputies and the police officers and CHP then engaged the suspect and disabled him.
But explain that so that I'm clear. So the first time the trunk just somehow was open?
Yeah, we don't know whether the driver was able to pop it from the inside, which we know you can do, or whether the victims opened it from inside the trunk.
Were the victims moving around?
Yes, the victims were alive. and the trunk was then closed, we believe, by the two people in the trunk.
The two victims in the trunk closed it, and then he got back on the highway again?
We believe at this point, and this is awful preliminary, that that's exactly what happened.
And then over here somehow it opened again, and that's where he pulled over. And was he firing from inside his vehicle, or did he get out of the vehicle and fire?
He was firing from inside of his vehicle. The officers approached the vehicle rapidly and engaged him in gunfire to try and save the two victims' lives in the trunk.
So essentially shot through the back seat and into the trunk.
That is correct.
And any estimate on the number of officers that were involved in the gunfight with him and how many rounds? I know it's very early.
We believe that there's 7 different officers that discharged their firearm, CHP, Ridgecrest Police, and Sheriff's deputies. And the number of rounds that were fired, we don't know yet. We should have those answers in the next few days, but right now this is just the beginning stages of this several-hour investigation that will last most of the day.
Can you confirm Sergio Munoz is the suspect?
I cannot confirm anyone's name at this point.
Do you know if there were any other victims along the highway when the suspect was firing?
We attempted to get victims to pull over. We had trailing officers try and contact them. Right now we have no other victims that have reported that they've been shot or their vehicle has been shot, but we do know that between 10 and 12 times the suspect fired at traffic going the other direction with a shotgun, and then we think a handgun later during the pursuit.
Do you know what kind of handgun?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what kind of handgun?
I do not.
I just verified some times. 5 a.m. is the homicide.
5:15.
5:15 is the homicide. 7:15 is when the chase starts.
The time frame from the time that the Ridgecrest Police responded to the scene on West Atkins and the time that the sheriff's deputy saw him. Ron, do you have that time?
2 hours.
2 hours. Approximately 2 hours. So suspect was in Ridgecrest for some time probably.
And when did this incident happen? Probably about an hour or so later?
When the pursuit lasted about, I'm guessing, 45 minutes before it ended.
Was he possibly headed to Trona to shoot his boss at Phillips Valley Minerals next?
We don't know what his intent was, except that he was going to wreak havoc. And obviously by shooting at oncoming traffic and running oncoming traffic off the road, there were some real issues.
Without getting specific about the name of the suspect, could the Ridgecrest Police Chief talk a little bit about who this person is and if you've had any contact with him in the past?
Certainly, Ron, if you want to address that.
We're not prepared at this time to release any of that information. Obviously, we're working the homicide investigation, and the Sheriff's Department's working the determination of the pursuit. So as that information becomes available, we'll obviously release it.
But he did, when he called, did he call your department?
We're not sure of any of the connection with the Trona at all at this point in time. I'm sure that will come up during the homicide investigation, what that link is with that.
The male who was shot at the house but not killed, where is he and how is he?
We believe he's in stable condition, and he's been taken to a hospital out of the area.
Are there any other suspects?
At this point in time, we don't know. That's still under investigation.
Were there drugs involved?
We're not sure of the motives yet. Like I said, we still have, we're still working the active homicide scene in Ridgecrest, and as that information becomes available, we'll eventually release it.
Is it your belief, though? I mean, should anybody be concerned that there's somebody else out there? Is it your belief that you got the people that you need to get?
Yeah, we believe everybody's accounted for.
How many total weapons?
We believe 2.
2. He said he had a package. Do you believe there's a bomb somewhere?
We're still investigating what he referred to as a package, but we don't believe there's any explosive devices involved in this at all.
Chief, when you said 2 weapons, was there a weapon found at the house in Ridgecrest and one in the vehicle, or were there 2 weapons in the vehicle?
We have not completed that investigation of the vehicle, so we don't know how many weapons are in there.
Right.
How long will 395 be closed?
Several hours.
Did he express why he was on this ramp?